Well, Kenyans should brace themselves for tough times ahead, with the cost of living expected to go higher if the government is to comply with the International Monetary Fund's austerity measures on its loans to the country. The IMF wants the cost of credit, fuel and cooking gas and electricity to go high as a means of raising money to repay the loans. NTV's Brian George now explains what the 55 billion shilling loan approved for Kenya on Monday really means.
The IMF board on Monday approved an immediate disbursement of 55 billion shillings loan to Kenya after the completion of its fourth review of the 38th-month program with the country. The loan is expected to go into budget support. However, among already existing conditionalities, IMF has added a fresh demand for the Central Bank of Kenya to further increase the lending rate. This simply means the cost of loans may soon be higher than the normal 14% capping. Now, the lender also wants Kenya to completely wrest the fuel subsidies, a move that the current administration has firmed up on. The interpretation is that fuel and gas prices will go up, and consequently, electricity costs too will skyrocket because of the fuel charge on electricity pricing.
The program is delivering results. Increased tax revenue and careful spending are stabilizing debt as a share of GDP well below levels originally projected. Kenya accomplished this because of strong commitment from the Ruto administration. Facing pending bills last year and unbudgeted spending from early this year, they took bold action. They fully phased out petrol subsidies, and they're finding cost savings to hold this year's deficit below the budgeted level.
Kenya and the IMF agreed to a $2.3 billion loan program in 2021, which includes a 3-year public sector pay freeze and increased taxes on cooking gas and food. More than 3 million Kenyans are facing acute hunger as the driest conditions in decades spreading a devastating drought in the country. Nearly half of all households in the country are having to borrow food or buy it on credit. It also instructed structural and institutional reforms that many fear could lead to the mass layoffs of government employees across state agencies. In 2018, then-President Uhuru Kenyatta was forced to cut value-added tax on fuel to 8% after the introduction of 16% levy prompted protests from motorists and business lobbies. The tax was originally included in a law passed in 2013 after a push by IMF, but was postponed several times amid complaints about its impact. Now, last year, IMF piled more pressure on Kenya to push VAT on petroleum products to 16%, but Uhuru's administration stood its ground, fearing a national backlash. In November, Kenya began a scrutiny on the austerity measures, a move that would potentially have the country lock horns with the global lender despite the new facility being approved. Senate Finance Committee fears the austerity measures may drive more Kenyans to poverty and will seek restructuring of those conditionalities. Brian George, Otieno, NTV, Nairobi.